turning the music down a little bit so you can actually hear what I'm saying. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Black Game Pro Sessions, the platform where we highlight the amazing, talented people working in our industry to hopefully, inspire the next generation of our team members to join and show them that you are not alone out there, that there's amazing people out there doing amazing things. For the people watching, returning offenders, appreciate you. I see you. It's I said it every time, but it is super cool to see people returning from all kind of different walks of life, from all kind of different brands and companies. It's appreciated. It's appreciated, your support. So if you are watching this live, please feel free to interact. That's also what these conversations are for. We have a comment section that you can chat in. We will answer any questions that you might have wherever you are in the world. That's also one of the cool things. We have people from all over the world joining, from the States to Canada to Europe to Africa. Hello, everybody. I see you. So let's get into today's session. Before we get into today's session, as you probably saw in the previous slide, this month is all about voice to power. I wanted to highlight 4 people in our industry that are doing amazing things, each in their own field. Today we have Moose, so I'll talk a little bit more and intro him in a little bit. Next week we have Chris Robinson from Deaf Gamers TV and Kaborski Ledbetter to do the ASL sign language. The week after we have Lee Williams from Blizzard. And we conclude April with a special with Tony Weaver Jr., who's been doing amazing things in uplifting geek culture and embracing your weirdness. It's okay to be weird. Anywho, back to today, the man of the hour that we are welcoming here today. Because today's guest represents a different kind of power. Not always the loudest voice in the room, but the one shaping what gets said, how it's told, how it lands. Today's guest is someone I've known for, let's say, over a decade. He's been at Ubisoft for 13 years. So it's 13 years. I've been there for 20 years, but it's 20 years, 13 years. But it's he's someone who's quietly been shaping how stories come to life inside of Ubisoft. Moustapha Ndom is Senior Creative Content Manager, but that title only tells a part of his story. He sits at the intersection of creativity, culture, and communications, helping translate ideas into narratives that actually connect with people. What makes Moose, I call him Moose, friends call him Moose, interesting is not what he does, but how he moves. From community to internal comms, from content creation to creative direction. He's someone who understands both the system and the soul of this industry. And outside of that, he's also a dancer, an artist, a father, and someone who brings a very personal creative lens to everything he touches. So today, I want to go beyond the job title and really unpack the journey, the mindset, the perspective behind it all. So Moose, welcome to Black Game Pro Sessions.
Hello. Hey, everyone. Whoa. And thank you for the introduction, Leon. It's quite a pressure now. I need to leave it to the center.
No, it's all good, man. You're just be you. It's all about just being you and sharing your journey. So welcome.
Thank you.
How are you today? I mean, yes, we had some meetings today. I'm not gonna, he's a colleague of mine. We work together closely. But I'm gonna ask you anyway. How are you?
I'm great. Especially today. Like in Paris, we kind of have the sun coming up, for the past few days. So. Yeah, we're happy. It's sunny, it's good, and it's at the end of the day also. So I have all my time to be with you and share anything you want me to share.
Oh yes, and we'll definitely get into that. But yeah, there's almost no such thing as Paris when it's sunny. It's a wonderful place. For the people that haven't been to Paris yet, don't go to Paris in wintertime. Don't do that. Go to Paris in summertime or spring. It's a wonderful place. Yeah. All right, Moose. Let's get into your story. Normally what I do, I kind of do it every now and then, but I feel like doing it now because it gives kind of a good base foundation of the kind of player that you are.
Yeah.
Top three of your game franchises or games ever.
Ah, cool. But the cool thing is that I participated, I think it was 3 years ago, to a podcast where the theme was basically to talk about the 3 games that impacted you the most. So I always already have my 3.
Yeah, but you've been ready. Okay.
Yeah, I hope I already have them. I think which one? And now I need to think about the top three. Three would be, I think, Street Fighter 2. Like, especially because of the experience of like playing it with my friends on the Super Nintendo when I was younger, and like all these cool memories. And I think the game also cemented my passion for video games because of all the experience that I have with my friends. And like I also remember, because I'm old, going to their arcades and like putting my coins and like spending time like afternoons there with my buddies. And also I think Street Fighter would be like top three. Top two would be Journey, the game.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, especially because of like I think the game is just magic. I mean, the art direction is crazy, the music is amazing, and I always like remember a specific moment in the game when you're like surfing on the sand and with the sunlight and like kind of like going through stardust. And I mean, this can really amaze me, like also in the experience of like not having any specific gameplay shown to you. Like just know that you have to go straight ahead up to the mountain, and then the whole story that unfolds and the message about like what it means according to what life is. And also the fact that you meet also other players that you cannot like actually interact with, except with some sounds. It's like, I mean, yeah, this game like really, really stood out for me. And the first one would be Final Fantasy VII.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I even have like that tattoo here is like inspired by the game. so yeah, I think it's like my favorite game because of, I mean, I don't think I've ever like played a game that impacted me that much. Like in terms of like story and like the whole lore that unfolds, like the message also. And I mean, it's everything. It's everything. I mean, I don't know exactly how to explain, like, because the music and the world and the characters and the gameplay and like the whole, and the thing that they're really clever about is the fact that the game was released in 96 and stuff like that, and they're still like pushing the story and the lore and the characters up until now. And you'll have the Final Fantasy VII remakes that are also coming out. I mean, and the games are still good, so I'm like playing, I guess, all my life with this game.
And you know, sometimes a game or universe that is created just hits different, and it feels like coming home almost.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
So I know the feel. I know the feeling. It's all good, and you can geek out here. You know, we're amongst friends. We're amongst gamers and culture makers and all these kind of things. So, your title, Senior Creative Content Manager.
Yep.
What does that? I mean, I know what it means, but for the people that don't know what it means, what does your job entail?
Well, my job is basically to manage the creation of visual content for the company. I think more specifically in the past few years for Ubisoft in France, in the fact that I was managing a team of graphic designers and video artists to create content that would go live either on the social media, on the other official channels for Ubisoft, and also covering like specific events like Paris Games Week and Les Pégases also. So yeah, as of now, that's basically what I do. And right now I'm working on another specific content for France also that's called Mod Co-op, but we will have time to...
Yes, we're going to talk about that. It's such a cool campaign for the people that haven't seen it. We'll talk about it a little bit later.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been at Ubisoft for 13 years, so you've been there for a while, through thick and through thin, which is great. How did you get started? Because I know that you were in the Just Dance team. I think that's where you started.
Yeah, exactly. I started in 2013, and I was hired as a com dev for Just Dance. And one funny story when I started working at Ubisoft is the fact that when the manager that I had at that time, Christophe Zerat, hired me, he shared also the story that when he was asking for someone to take the job as a com dev for Just Dance, they were looking for someone who knows how to create content, who knows how to be in front of the camera, who knows community management, who knows how to dance, who knows video games, and like he was coming to the HR and people were like, you are not going to find that person. And then
there you were. But I mean, but was it your goal to work in video games? I mean, or was it just something that happened?
The funny thing is that I think video games have been part of my life like forever. I mean, I've started like playing video games when I was I think 7 or 8, like on the NES, and I've been playing like all the different consoles. Even though I didn't own all of the consoles, I used to play some of them with my friends. But I've played like on literally every console that have existed and played like all the games like all my life, pretty much all my life. And I think even when I started working at Ubisoft, I did not realize that I really wanted to work in video games, because I think when you grow up, you consume video game, but you don't think that this is an actual industry where people work. You know, or if you think about people who are like working in video games, it's either the people who the journalists, because there was like a lot of video game magazines when we were younger, so it's them who like test the video games and talk about it in magazines, and then there's people who make the games, and that's it. But then you realize when you grow up that, and especially when I started working at Ubisoft, that, oh no, there's actually people who sell the game. There are actually people who talk about the game. There are people who actually manage the servers for the game to be able to like reach the people and people to enjoy. I mean, it's such a big industry that in the end that's when I started working at Ubisoft, then I was like, so there's a lot of stuff that I can actually do working in this company, you know? So, and yeah, I'm still here like 13 years later. So I guess I was like...
You saw a world of opportunity, a world of possibility.
Exactly.
So, okay, so you got hired to work on Just Dance. Take me back to your first day, if you still remember.
Oh, my first day? Do I remember? I don't think I do.
or an early memory of your early days at Ubisoft.
Well, I think my the memory that stand out, because I started working at Ubisoft in January 2013, and that was right like a month or month and a half before they were having the remember the EMEA kickoff meetings, and the kickoff meetings is actually like a big like event where the company shows the whole lineup for all the people working in the company, and they are actually sharing all the new teasers, new trailers. Yeah, we're going to release this and that game throughout the year, and I think it's the first time. Well, the biggest company I've been working for. Before working at Ubisoft, I was always working like in either small companies, and that's when I realized that this is big, and especially because I remember it was the year of when Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag was being released, and I was like, this is something big. Like, this is a big company, and you're like entering something that's in an industry that is really cool, because they were having all these presentations and like all these different happenings, and I mean, it was really, really a cool moment. And I think that's one of the things that's kind of cemented my passion like for the industry and for the people who are actually working in video games. Yeah, Thomas here.
Ah, nice.
He's sharing like a memory about an interview for France 2. And this is kind of a private joke, because yeah, during like my I can't believe that you actually brought that up. During my years working for a company for Just Dance, I was like interviewed for a French TV show presented by Stéphane Bern, who is like a French animator. But it was funny because it was really for a, you know, the afternoon shows that happen like in the middle of the day, so you know that nobody's watching except like the people who are not working and like old people. And we were like kind of trying to explain what is video game through Just Dance. It was really like trying to pretend that it was a lot of acting and like real stuff. Maybe I'm gonna send you the the link of the video. It still exists somewhere. Please, Thomas, don't share it in the chat. I'll share it with Leon like privately. But this one was a funny memory too, and there's a lot of others, of course. But,
Well, so, I mean, that's for national TV, right?
yes, for national TV. Yeah.
Was that your first like national TV performance?
I think it was. But I haven't like done actual national television things so far. I don't remember. Maybe I did. I don't know.
You've done so much.
Yeah.
You've done so much. So, what exactly did your job for the Just Dance brand entail? I mean, yes, you were a community developer.
No. Well, I actually started. I think my career in video games would be starting when I was a freelance journalist. I think that's where I would put like the start of my career, because I was actually working for like different magazines and websites, writing about pop culture, anime, manga, video games, fashion, and dance. And I've been like writing stuff for video games at that moment. But then I needed to have an actual job. No, not saying that freelance doesn't pay, but it was kind of tricky. But then I need to find a job that was more sustainable in terms of like money, because life. And I started working in a company that was creating. It was right in the moment where Facebook games were kind of like, remember the pyramid deal? That they were like developing games for Facebook and other like applications for the TV boxes and stuff, and they needed actually someone to manage the customer care and like manage the content creation for this Facebook game. But yeah, I mean, in the end, I think I spent 3 years there, but then there was not like any evolution, like it was not like taking off at all. So I tried to move to another company, and then Ubisoft called me. And what is funny is that also I applied at Ubisoft for another job, which was actually community manager for the internal website that we have at that time. But they didn't call me, but they called me for the possible come there for Just Dance. And I still to this day don't know how like my resume kind of like made it through this like stack, but I'm here.
I mean, I'm you were the right person for the job. I mean, they were looking for a unique profile, and there you were. With the background that you have, with choreography, with dancing. I mean, and video game experience. Try to find that.
Exactly.
So then you did that, and you worked for Just Dance for 6 years.
5 years.
5 years. Okay.
Yeah, from 2013 to 2018, and then I moved to internal communications for HQ, which was basically kind of doing community management, but for internal. It was like creating content and trying to bring people together through either events and all these different communications. And that's actually where I met Moustapha, who's in the chat right now. And we managed like to do like really, really cool stuff, organized events, parties, and also, which is interesting, is that the job that I have right now kind of like was starting when I was a internal communications manager, because I was asked by the people who hired me to also create content, like video content, that led us like to create the sort of internal channel where we were creating a lot of different stuff with what we call La Notif, which was like a weekly video content sort of news channel that was kind of short, where we were like summing up like the news within either Ubisoft or the industry. We were creating a lot of different combini style kind of content with the teams, and try to inspire like the teams between each other with like a lot of all different set of content, and everything, all of that was all only video, and it was really something that was really like new, I think, in terms of either internal communications. It was new also at Ubisoft, so it's kind of like the stuff that I'm the most proud about. Like, wow, until now, because I have a lot of stuff that I've been working on. But I mean, being able to come up and like think about how to bring people together with like content only, whether it's new, whether it's like light and fun content, and people getting to know also each other, because one of the idea also with that type of content was that we had like a lot of different teams within HQ who do not work together, who work in silos, and then it was just also helping to, hey, we need to know in IT, like who are they and what they like to do and how they work together, and this was kind of the stuff that we were able to create like as internal content. So it was really exciting indeed.
That's super cool indeed. Yeah, no, I saw that as well. I mean, so sometimes people tend to forget is that even though it was internal comms only, you had a platform of 20,000 plus people that were looking at your content, because we, I'm sure we have like these screens all over the offices and studios across the Ubisoft globe where Moussa's content was playing. So he had this huge audience that was watching the content. I think there's a question here. Are there internal community groups that increase the cross-pollination of talent and ideas within the company? For example, an incubation type group to see if there are ways that people can intentionally explore other departments within the gaming industry. That's a long question.
It's a long question.
The question is coming from Muriel. Muriel Storms.
Increase the cross-pollination. I don't think we have like this sort of internal community. I mean, we have a lot of internal community groups that work like in their specific scope, I would say, in terms of like sharing experiences and like sharing their own expertise. But we don't have. I mean, that's up to the internal communications team to create these bridges between like these different expertises and like bringing people together in different ways. And the way we did that, if I think about it, I don't have an example in mind, but I think when you're working in internal communication, then if you need to have like these bridges made between the different teams within the gaming industry, I mean, you have to create them basically. So,
yeah, I mean, I think what you can also do and what you've done is lead by example. It's like maybe the bridges are not per se there or for us to build, but with the content you create already an impact that can allow other teams within the company to respond, amplify, or collaborate.
Yeah.
So, we have another question.
Well, kind of like Moria says, like the fact that we were also creating this video content where people were kind of like sharing also their daily lives and stuff that they were working also was kind of helping.
We have another question from Jemmy.
Just Dance.
It's a cool game. However, they haven't really dived into Afro music and dance. That is not true. It would be cool to have that included, especially since a lot of African diaspora artists have music that can definitely have awesome dance levels in the game. I can't be the only one that has noticed that.
Well, funny enough, we actually, I think it was last week, we had this internal event with our ERG, because between all the stuff that I'm doing, like Leon said, I'm also the global lead for the ERG Black Employee at Ubisoft, and we were having this event in France last week, where we had like these ERG themed celebration, where we were like, we had budget for food, and we were having like all these different activations, animations that are to like bringing all the Africa diaspora culture, whether it's through food or music or with a quiz or an exhibition, also with art and photos and stuff, like a lot of stuff. And we had a specific Just Dance playlist where we had like these, we want to say, black tailored kind of music and dances. So we do have some of them. It's not the majority, of course. So when I was making this playlist, because I did it myself, of course, I mixed it with like all the like general African American music, but there's also a lot of like Afro beats and stuff like that, especially when it's like kind of trendy, because that's what Just Dance is like. You know that Afrobeats right now is trendy, so in the end, it's going to be in Just Dance. Like any dance style or music style that is kind of making the charts always ends up being in Just Dance, because the game kind of like takes the pulse also of what the culture is at that time. So we do have some Afrobeats, and we also have an, I forgot the name, and I think maybe the Johnson's people, if they're here, will be able to answer it. But we have like also African artists that are signed like to the Ubisoft the label, to have like specific music made for the game, and so.
Yep. And I think what I mean for these like massive game productions, it's always 1 or 2 years later that you see it actually, the actual hits that are current in the game, because it just takes a little bit of time. Or you see there's a DLC that comes later in the game release, like for example, for this current Just Dance. Not here to plug or promote Just Dance, but you know, it's you asked the question with a good question, Jimmy. So we answered that question, I think. Yeah, you know. I mean, going back to your career within Ubisoft, you've been there for 13 years now, started in 2013.
Yeah,
that's longevity. That's a longevity that most people, especially nowadays, don't seem to have. What's your secret?
What's my secret? I think I don't know if that's like politically correct to say that, but to not put your work first, or too much of your energy in like your whole life must not like be turned towards your job at some point. What I think is that if you manage to put your energy in a lot of different things outside of work, whether it's your family, whether it's your other passions that you have, you always manage to find a sort of balance between the energy you want to put out there and the energy you want to put in there, in your job, I mean. And to me, I think being like in this industry, in this company for like 13 years means that I think I'm doing a good job. But
Obviously.
but I don't think that it is that important, if you know what I mean. I mean, job is important. Like
in the end, it's just a job.
Yeah. I mean, being serious, like being a good teammate, and like making sure that the people you manage are also like thriving and being happy. You know, everything is important. But I mean, if there's stuff that I'm not in control at work, I would not like spend too much energy on that. You know what I mean? Because I think that depending on how you think about it and how you want to get yourself into it, there's sometimes when, like in a company, you always have a management and a boss. You know, so you have a sort of, I want to say sandbox, and so you have a limit and stuff where you can play in. So you have to deal with the thing that you have in hands, you know. And in the end, I think that if I can do stuff that are outside of my sandbox, I would not like care about that and focus on the stuff that I can actually have an impact on, and stuff that I actually work on. And I think this kind of helped me have this balance of not putting too much of myself and not taking too much at heart stuff that either don't go the way I want, or if people are like pissing me off, like I'm never pissed off at work. Have you me?
No, you're always happy, which is great. Always a positive energy.
Because it's just
we're we're not saving the universe. We're
Yeah,
not,
we're just making games. I mean, yeah. So yeah, the secret like to be working like so long in the company and like not wanting to throw yourself out the window is like, yeah, it's just work.
Mhm. I mean, but at the same time, though, you have managed to kind of like create your own path from Just Dance to internal comms to now, senior creative content creator working on a very cool campaign, Ubisoft 40th anniversary. So I mean, that takes some vision. I mean, that like, did you have that planned, like the transition from Just Dance to internal comms and from internal comms to global comms? You've already kind of touched on it, but it just happened.
It just happened. The thing is, because people have been asking me these questions before, and I'm the kind of person who just like go with the flow, you know.
Yeah,
Because when I was like working as a freelance journalist, I was thinking that I would be a freelance journalist forever. But then in the end, I'm like, I'm bored. I'm going to do this. And then this company where I worked on was like not fulfilling my ambitions. And then I switched, and I happened like to work at Ubisoft. And then when I started, I was like figuring. I was not like projecting too much far away and be like, no, I'm going to be working in this company for this month, for this amount of years, and then I'm going to be in this company, and then I'm going in this company, or have this and that job. And I was like doing my stuff at Just Dance for 5 years. I was dancing, going to E3 and doing cool stuff. And then 5 years later, I was like, yeah, maybe I'm going to switch. And then I went to internal comms, my things, like making videos and all. And then, yeah, maybe I'm going to switch. And I'm just like taking the opportunities as they come, basically. And yeah, so right now, if you ask me like how long I'm going to be doing that job, I'm not able even to say, but like maybe next year I'm going to be working in another company or in another team doing something else. Like I don't.
Which is a good segue to this question, indeed, from Tromel Isaac. By the way, I'm not sure if you know who this dude is. He's a legend in the industry. He has worked on the art direction for Fallout. He created like Pip-Boy, so he's a legendary guy. Have you ever wanted to work anywhere else?
Anywhere else? That's a great question, because I cannot say that I've been working like for 13 years at Ubisoft and never thought about like what it would look like if I were working in another company. I haven't like put the actual pin on my next trajectory is going to be working in that company or this company. Like I have companies that I think it would be cool to work in, but no. No, the thing is, yeah, it's true that I'm just like I say, I'm going with the flow, and then if
something comes on your path, then you
exactly. If there's another opportunity that comes my way and I'm like interested in like working in another company, maybe I have a look into it. But yeah, I'm just like doing my thing. And I think the most important thing to me is being happy and trying to inspire people and the people I'm working with, and being also inspired by the people I'm working with. So as of now, it's still the case at Ubisoft. So I'm like, yeah.
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
We have another question from Marielle. How do you create structure and boundaries when there are demands in the gaming industry? I've heard of tight deadlines and burnout. However, not being in the industry myself, is this a myth?
I think it's
how do you find the balance, indeed?
Yeah, but like I said, I think trying not to put too much of myself in my work is something that is a boundary. But also, I think, as you said, you're not working in the industry, and I think what you're talking is mostly what people are going through when they work in production, which I'm not. I do not develop games. I don't have like this tight deadline of like when you need to ship a game and that it needs to be ready for this release date that is set probably a year or 2 years before, you know. I do have deadlines at some point when you have to like actually work and deliver content at a specific time. But they're not that tight, and I still manage to get to them. Just like I said, by trying to be focused and like try to get a balance between like not getting too much of a of like I said earlier, like too much of myself, and try to boundaries.
Yeah, but I mean, because I mean, at the same time, though, you've been through E3 back in the days, like long days, long hours. You've worked in the art direction and in content for Ubisoft Forward and all these kind of things. I mean,
Yeah.
that can be stressful. So I mean,
Yeah.
so how do you find that balance? Because you have two amazing daughters, you have a wife, you have your dancing classes that you do, you have your stuff that you do for the ERG. I mean, that's a lot.
That's a question that I've heard also earlier, but it's not in terms of boundaries. It's more, I think I don't look like I'm organized, but I think I am still like organized in my way, in where I want to, on where and when I want to put my energy. Because like you said, I have my job, I have my family, I have my dance classes, I have my art also that I'm working on, I have the ERG, and have the clubs also within the company that I'm managing. But it's just like trying to put different slots of where and when I'm going to deal with this and that. In trying to be as organized as I can be, even if it's my way. I mean, it's not like being too fixed on deadlines and boundaries, and trying to be more easygoing. I want to say
flexible, be like water.
Flexible, be like water, just like Bruce Lee said.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, but it is super impressive to see you move throughout the company, see the respect that you get as a fellow black man in the company, as one of the few, to be honest. It is great to see you get the respect that you deserve, and see you also move up on the corporate ladder. But it's still, it's impressive how much you manage to do without, and when still keeping the balance, finding that balance.
Yeah, but I think I'm going to repeat myself, but I think balance is basically key in the link between passion, because that's the things also that helps is like the fact that we're working in a passion industry. When you're passionate about video games, when you're passionate about anything you do, I mean, that's something that everybody heard, like, yeah, it doesn't look like work. But I mean, it's true at some point when you're like, we were talking earlier about Mode Co-op, the video podcast that I'm working on. When you are working on that, I mean, I don't see the time passing, like when I'm just like going through all the different get that I might or might not have, preparing the questions, trying to set up the call and talk to them, and then for recording, being like part of the whole production. I mean, yeah, that also helps a lot, because I think everything I do, when you talk about like the whole list of stuff that you were saying, like I'm passionate by my family, of course, but yeah, dancing, art, and ERG, and like communications, and creating links between people, and trying to inspire even the younger generations, stuff like that. I mean, it's all stuff that I like to do, that I think I'm born to do. So I don't. It's really easy for me to do that.
So I mean, if you kind of already answered the question of Trammell, do you feel pressure to be successful as a black person in this industry / world?
Oh, in the world, yeah, of course. I mean, I think it's not news if I say that when you're the only black person in a space, you always have this pressure of like being, I want to say perfect, but you feel like you sort of represent the whole community. Like,
Mhm.
do something wrong, it's going, like, you feel or you think that it's going to impact in some way the rest of the community. So the thing is, I don't feel pressured as a Black person, but it's still something that I also keep in mind, like that. Yeah, that you definitely need to represent it, so at some point. I don't know if you also feel that way, Leon, like trying to,
You
yeah,
know, it's a weird thing. It's a, for me, it's, yes, I'm aware I'm a Black person in a predominantly white industry for sure. Do I feel pressure to be successful? Kind of like, do I feel the weight of all Black folks on my back? Like, oh, if he doesn't make it, like, no, not per se. But I pressure myself because I want to make sure that I do the best job that I can, regardless of if I'm Black or not. But because for me, it's important for me to make an impact. And then at a certain point in time, when you've established, and I think you can say that as well, Moose, it's like, we have some authority within the company. Like, we've been there for a while. People know us. People trust us, which will then allow you to do other things and allow you to be more creative. For example, in my case, now to set up a platform like this, to use the cloud network that I have to uplift interesting stories like yours.
yeah.
So I think that answers the questions. From Elf, let us know if you have further questions. I want to talk about Mode Co-op, a format that you created and that is going quite well, and that we are planning to bring to a global stage. Can you enlighten us?
Enlighten us. Yeah, I think Mode Co-op is kind of, I think it is the project that I'm the most proud of in terms of trying to, first of all, because I see what the value it brings to people and to the video game industry as a whole. Just to explain also, what is Mode Co-op? Because it's a content that is in French, so like the English speaking people will not like be able to grasp like all of it. But basically, this is a video podcast where we bring like a creative person from the video game industry, from Ubisoft, and we put them in front of someone from another creative industry, just to talk about like inspiration, creativity, how they create, their upbringing and stuff like that. And we did a first season last year that we started with Thomas Joly, who is the creative director of the opening ceremony of the Olympics in Paris 2024, and in the closing ceremony also. And the first season was mostly about like bringing people who are kind of like this, who have the same title, like but in different industries. For example, for the first episode, it was creative director for a like live show, theater, and this sort of ceremony with a creative director from video games. Then we had a music composer from the movie Le Comte de Monte Cristo, with a sound designer, so it's kind of like music and sound. Then we have a photographer with a creative designer. We had a drag queen with a costume designer for Just Dance, and then a writer and director with a narrative designer for video games. But moving forward, like for the second season, I wanted to show that even though we definitely have the same jobs in like different industries, we try to have discussions that were about passion about video games, whatever the industry is. And for example, the first episode of this season, we had like a character designer who was talking with a chef, and we had again a sound designer with a DJ. You have a comic book artist talking with a creative director also. And the next one, which is to be released end of the month, is going to be with a creative director and an architect and designer. And all these conversations are really interesting because to me, creativity always starts when you work in the creative field. it always has the same basics for everyone as a human in the way you get inspired and in the way you create stuff. And as long as you're interested in how the other person creates, the conversation is like always like really flawless. Like most of the time, we have to cut them and to say that, hey, we only have 1 hour, you need to stop talking, please. But I mean, all the conversations are really inspiring because yeah, it's all about like I said, creativity, inspiration, and also trying to, even though us as working in the video game industry, we know that video game is definitely a form of art. Even when you're playing video games, when you are invested, you know, like in terms of like visuals, music, like even game design can be a sort of art form. We know that it's the 10th art, I want to say, but I mean, people who don't know that will realize it. Thanks. Well, that's actually my goal, to make people think that when you're interested in design, but you not interested that way in video game, you will see by watching the next episode that indeed Anthony Autier likes video game, understands the link between architecture, how you create words that are first in 3D in your software and that are then put up to actual real world. And when you're in a video game, you create also spaces where people can actually move. But even if the end result is not the same, like, I mean, when you create a building or a room, you create an actual room, and then you only have it like in digital for the game. The process of thinking and creative is kind of like the same, and that's what I want to record with Mod Co-op. And it's really my passion project also, because that's why I'm also really happy that I'm able to do that within Ubisoft, because I think that if it was not like for Ubisoft as a company, as a big name of the video game company in France, I don't think like Thomas Gilly would have like even looked at me. But then, but the fact that it was with Ubisoft, it helped us like have these big names wanted to come and to share their experience and their inspiration for everything they do, and I'm
So
really happy to be able to do that. And
how did you pitch that? How do you pitch a project like that and to get the green light in order to, because you run that project, that's your project.
To whom?
How did you start? Who did you go to? How did you get the approval to work on this, or you just started working on it?
Well, I actually started to secure Thomas Joly, and then I came to the team and say, "Hey, we have Thomas Joly who wants to do something with us, and we have this and this and that idea."
Great.
And then, and that's how we started.
So how did you reach out to Thomas Joly? How did that happen?
We knew that he was like a lot into video games and that he loved Ubisoft. And basically what we did is that we knew we wanted to have him as a guest for this format that we didn't know was going to be called Mod Co-op and stuff. We wanted to have this sort of podcast where we were going to let people talk. Basically, our inspiration was actors on actors. You know, the video podcast they do on TNT. It's basically the stuff like that, but for video games. And then he was having a talk at an event in Paris that he was supposed like to kick off. And we went there and we waited until he finished his speech. And then we went to say, "Hey, Thomas Gilly, we're Ubisoft. We want to have you in our next piece of content that we're working on." And he said, yes, because he said, like, he said, we're Ubisoft, and he's really passionate about video games. He knows his craft, and he wants to talk about games also and inspiration. And also,
cool.
It was really, honestly, it was really easy. It was really easy.
Yeah, but I mean, but if you wouldn't have said that first, no, but I mean, don't downplay it. I mean, if you would not have taken that first step, because indeed, it was super smart that instead of going to management and be like, "Hey, I need X amount of money in order to maybe get someone like Thomas Joly or someone else," it would have been easier to say no, especially in the context that we were in. But that you already had the guy, you had the talent. Like, hey, we have him, we have an opportunity. Let's put a camera on his face and see what happens.
Yeah.
So it's super smart how you did that. So I have to give compliments for that.
Merci.
Je t'en prie, monsieur. Another question from Jimmy. And Adit, I saw him post about this on LinkedIn as well. Last month, I hosted a games and nerd culture event aimed at students and graduates about using their interests, hobbies, or passions to develop professional skills and create opportunities for themselves. Instead of gunning for an industry position, is it more important to work on personal branding and owning your own work these days? What are your thoughts on this?
Is it or it's more? Is it like an affirmation?
I think is it more important to work on personal branding and owning your own work these days, or working or just going for an industry job?
I think we live in like a special time in terms of like personal branding, like you said, and being able to have a platform and showcase who you are and the impact that you can bring in the industry, whether it's like in video games or any other industry. And when I talk about that, of course, I mean all the social media and how you can like actually create content and brand yourself and show your expertise. So to me, which one is more important? Because the thing is, if it was not for Ubisoft, I don't think I would have been able to create that content myself. You know, the Modco podcast. So the fact that I'm in a big company, that we have actual resources, because this content is made like internally, like 100% internally with all the teams that we have within the company. So shout out to Tony and Alexi, the video team who's doing a great job.
Yes.
I don't think I would have been able to do that, but in the meantime, I think you still have a way to also create content and show yourself and show your expertise that can also be used as a platform to reach out to these big companies, to these personalities also. So my answer is, I don't know. I think it's, which one is more important? Actually, I don't know.
I think maybe both are. I think maybe both are equally important.
Yeah,
I think that especially nowadays, if you would be gunning for an industry position, you know, the HR guys, they will Google you. They will look online to see if you have any social presence, and if your social presence is unrepresentative of the job that you're trying to get, it will work against you. At the same time, for example, what probably also happened with you, Moose, you know, they did some research and you like, oh, he does this, he does that, he does such. Yeah, he's a great, great fit. So I think you should leverage your personal branding for sure, and own something, a project, whatever that is. And then at the same time, you know, you can pursue the industry position. You know, I don't think one excludes the other, or one is more important than the other. So you should do both, probably.
Exactly. And I think it also brings back to what I said earlier when I was talking about passion project and the fact that you work in the passion industry. I mean, when you are passionate about anything, you were talking about hobbies and passions and interests. I mean, you put energy in that you would have put anyway. So as long as you put this energy, is something that you're passionate about, and you push it forward, and like I said, show your expertise and show how good you are in this and this and that, it's going to have a positive, like, I won't say return on investment, but still bring back
compounding impact, because you build piece by piece. So in the end,
exactly.
Interesting indeed. Yeah, people don't underestimate the personal brand. Don't underestimate what people can find about you online. So, you know, whatever you do it with purpose. And then if the right job, corporate job, or whatever job, or even entrepreneur opportunity arrives, people will look at your history. So if your history is good, and if your history is in line with what you're trying to do for your future, things normally line up. Can line up.
Yeah. No, exactly. And I think it's always important to be genuine about stuff that you do, because people will always feel when it's like fake, or when you're trying to put like too much energy in something that you're not passionate about. And like being natural and genuine and sharing your passion and putting energy in that, just like you said, going to bring positive stuff in the end. So
Yes, I think that's Agreed. Agreed.
Agreed.
We're almost out of time, but I still have like
Ready?
one or two questions for you. Um, you have two kids. When when they look at you and they see the work that you're doing in general, not just for the Ubisoft, but in general, what's the feeling that you want them to have, or what's the lesson that you want them to learn from what you're trying to do?
I think what I want them to learn from me is being a good person in terms of like being open-minded, not judging too fast, trying to do your best at life as a whole, because life's a bitch, as you know.
It can be, surely, yeah.
No, just yeah, being nice and open and not judging, and putting your heart in everything you do. I think it's the most important thing that I want them to keep in mind. Like that's basically, I mean, happily they're really good at school, like they have good grades and all, but even when they have like not so good grades, I'm like, but did you do your best? She's like, yeah. So I'm like, yeah, but then I'm just, I mean, I don't need anything else.
Yeah.
As long as you say that you did your best, uh, I mean, that's all I'm asking. I mean,
Mhm.
the thing I would be disappointed is that if you like don't care or don't want to do this or this and that and are not interested in anything, but so far they are like really invested in anything they do, and that's basically something that I want them to keep pushing and also keep exploring different stuff, where they want to do when they grow up, where they want to go. I mean, I'm not like putting like that pressure on them to be perfect or to have this and that job. I'm just want them like to be themselves, basically. So
Mhm.
I think is that also what I'm trying to showcase, like to be myself so that they can be themselves, like showing that well, I want to say, don't push too much pressure on myself to be in a specific position when I'm outside or in the world or trying to show a specific face. I mean, the way I'm with you or outside is the way that I'm also when I'm at my place at home with my kids, you know?
Mhm.
So being myself all the time, and yeah, trying to be basically real to everyone. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, authenticity and doing your best and just being a good person overall, which I think you tick all these boxes quite well.
Merci.
No, but for real though, this is not me. No bullshit. That's one of the reasons why I love working with you, because you're real. You're positive. You're a good person, and it's rare to find that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Final question. Let's say in 40 years, when we're all old and gray, you're writing your biography about your life. What's your opening sentence? How would you start your book?
That's a nice question. Did you ask them that
Oh,
you
honestly, just popped in my mind.
uh, what I want or what it would?
What you want? I mean, what you want is what it could be, or what it would be. Yeah, whatever.
I had a happy life. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think yeah, because it's just like, I think the reason, like you said, when you ask about like trying to project in the future and try to think about the career and everything, I think my goal is not like to have the perfect job or this position in this company. I think my goal is basically just to be happy.
Mm-hmm. What more can you ask for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. With
The name is Mode Co-op.
So it's Mode Co-op.
I don't know if I can actually like write it.
Yeah, you You can put it in the either on LinkedIn on chat in the chat or in the chat of the.
Yeah.
Or, I think it's better because if I put it in the comments here and people cannot click on it. So maybe you can just drop a link to the latest knife wielding mode co-op in the LinkedIn comments.
Yes, do that because I tried to connect to the chat and it doesn't work. So
yeah, and then otherwise we can do it later. We'll respond to your question, Darlene, ASAP. But it's mode co-op. It is super cool. It is in French. I'm not sure if it's auto-translated, or at least there's subtitles, I think, that you can put on there.
They try. But I mean, the first ones, yes. And then the next one, since we are lacking resources, it's kind of hard, to have all these subtitles all cleaned and, translated. But,
and then there are ways. Yeah, exactly. But there's also ways, if you don't, if it's too French, you can use AI to have it translated if you want to. But it is super interesting because it's an interesting concept where you kind of have a clash of worlds, gaming versus other creative industries. So it's super interesting, Darlene, to check it out.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Moose. I think we're there. Thomas put it in the chat. Thank you, Thomas. Like a boss. Much appreciated. Final question, because you know a lot of people in the industry. If I would have to pick another guest, the next guest, who would I have to invite for this podcast?
Did you have Michael Newton already?
Not yet.
Michael Newton.
There we go. All right, Mike. If you're watching, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you, Mike. All righty. Well, Moose, thank you for sharing all of these wonderful stories. I agree with Mario, what you said. It's an excellent goal to live your life, and indeed, I had a happy life. I lived a good life. It's thank you for your time. For the people watching, for the people engaging with the chat, much appreciated as per usual.
Merci.
Yes, merci beaucoup, like the French would say. Next week, Black Game Processions is back with Chris Robinson from Def Gamers TV, ASL by Kaborski Ledbetter. So I will see you all there. And a final thank you for you, Moose. You the man. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Do you have any final words for the people watching?
Let's be basic and say follow your dreams. Don't stop believing. No, I'm making fun, but yeah, it's basically just be yourself and try as much as possible to be happy. Try to know yourself and know what you want, and things will turn out good, I guess.
I think on that note, mic drop. Thank you very much, everybody. See you next time.
Merci, bye.